Linda Close is reading her work. I'm happy to introduce her, and she has been my therapist for many years. She's a nurse and also works with her husband, Tom Close, in his chiropractic practice in Palmer Lake, although she's mostly retired. And I have really enjoyed working with her and finding out about her Zentangle coursework that she teaches. It's an artistic technique that is calming and has a good reason to be called Zen. I have taken the course, but it's not good for me because I'm left-handed. So we have to try other methods to get me calmed down. But Linda's life has been very full. She comes from an interesting background, and also her nurse's training, and in particular her field. I'd like for you to tell me a little bit about both of those, your background and the type of nursing that you did.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Judy. I started out after nursing school in 1980, graduated, and went into orthopedics for a year and decided that was not my cup of tea, and moved into neonatal care and advanced through that to become a nurse practitioner in intensive care nursery at Memorial Hospital, Colorado Springs. I was there for 15 years and did some Flight for Life through that program that was the first in southern Colorado. And so it was kind of a lot of new beginnings. Really, really enjoyed my work, but after 15 years was pretty tired. So I moved into other forms of nursing. I did some triage care. I did some grant money through the school system to assist with not smoking for teenagers, that kind of thing.
Interesting, always helping.
Yes. Yeah, and so I got into holistic health, always wondering, all these questions I had going through that Western medicine lifestyle, wondering why we get sick, why we can get better, how we can get better. And so I got into meditation practice. Qigong is my favorite. I've been doing that now for 30 years. And that's my own health and wellness program I do for myself. And I have taught through the years Qigong forms for clients at our office. Got into art about 15 years ago. Started with watercolor. Loved it, and then I just really enjoy paper. I haven't got into 3D art, but I got into the Zentangle, which is a meditative art form using ink and paper with really quality tools. And so I have enjoyed that quite a bit for 8 years, and I'm starting to teach for the last year and enjoying that quite a bit. The poetry, I guess, and story writing over the years has just been kind of an occasional poem. My husband has inspired me because he's quite a poet, I think. I enjoyed his poetry quite a bit. And then Judy talked me into joining the Last Saturday Poets group. And so it pushes me to see what else I can create in words and not just in ink and paper. So I've enjoyed that quite a bit. And so I have some things to share today.
That's great.
So I'm going to read this first poem that I just wrote. I try to notice my surroundings. Some of my poems are imaginary, fantasy types, which my mind likes to go there quite a bit. And then lately I've been just trying to imagine what's my surroundings are and to write a poem about daily life and what I notice. And so we are lucky enough to live in acreage forest that Tom inherited from his family. And so a little cabin in the woods we call it our little cottage in the woods. And out about, maybe half a mile into the woods, we have old chairs that just sit there by the trees, something you don't normally come across in a forest. And so I wrote this poem. The empty chair in the woods, sitting there quietly, empty, waiting, 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 empty, open, inviting passers-by. Will you sit? Will you sit quietly with me? Sit quietly. Observe. The trees are standing, the birds flying, the rocks sitting quietly. Sit. Sit quietly. Now. Thank you. And then here's a poem I just wrote about life in general. I think about life and death, as I've seen quite a bit of that working in the hospital and studying meditation and just living life. This poem is called Ups and Downs. The ups and downs, the ways and means, the ins and outs and in-betweens, the fun and games, the tops and bottoms, a life well lived, the shoulds and autumns, our past and future, our loves and losts. A life is full of wins and costs. So when the day is at its end, to think of all that we can mend, we watch and wait and tally the score as waves wash away from the beautiful shore. Thank you. And then, of course, what is life without grief? We all suffer losses on this planet. And so I just really felt compelled to write a poem and see how that came out. So my poems I write are just inspired in the moment. And so this was one I just was thinking a lot about grief and how that is affected in our lives and in different cultures as well. So this is just titled Grief. Does grief stand alone all by itself, or sit with others up on a shelf? A shelf we hide so deep inside, the pains from the past that seem to last, perhaps to lose a love so dear, a sad so deep it sparks a fear of moving on to other things, afraid to find that shelf that brings the memories of the past so clear, to bear the grief and wash the tear, to see the other side of grief. It's oh so much a big relief, to find that we can weather storms and move within the social norms, with full expressions of our shelves, including all that's on that shelf. Thank you. And this is a fantasy poem I like to, I always had a lot of fun with my kids growing up and with my grandkids now. And so this is kind of like thinking of the young ones. It's called Come With Me. Come with me, an invitation you will see, to visit here and maybe there, a place in space and over there with sparkling lights and water blue, and maybe pink pajamas too, trees so tall and tigers green and dancing tulips in between, the cups and plates a dinner fine, a lovely place in which to dine, carrots, ginger, pickles too, candy, peanuts, gum to chew. Perhaps some twinkling stars will come as we play hopscotch on the run. A kite to fly up in the air with colored tails and fringe so fair. We'll jump so high to reach the moon and twirl and swirl with our baboon. A more enchanting place to see I do not know and wait to see. I'm thinking now this time is done. Let's take our dreams of having fun and wind them in our hearts and minds, and there they'll be for us to find. Another invite will be ours for us to use for hours and hours. Thank you. Now this next poem is just really a short thought about a lot about when I'm doing Qigong practice is about being present in the moment, bringing all our thoughts into this particular moment that we're standing or sitting or lying. It takes practice and focus to really be present. And the rewards, I think, for being present. This title is called Being Present. It's grounding and strengthening, rooting and deepening. Lift up, sink down, flowing still in silent, deep, internal, external, merging into heart open, mind clear, rooted, swaying, aware. Thank you. And this poem is about growing up. I think Judy might have alluded to that in the introduction or in the poem that she read about my Zentangle piece that she wrote about my life in childhood. I was orphaned at the age of 5, and I'm not sure how long I was in the orphanage, but I lost my mom, my dad, my sister. I did end up adopted with my brother and grew up together. But I was always aware as a child through these experiences of just paying attention to what people say. So this poem is about what people say. People say things, right things, wrong things, words they've heard, words they know. Some are sweet, and some can blow and pierce the heart. Some can soothe that tender part of us that cares and wants to share this precious life that passes by. A moment, a word, a mind so sharp can blend itself with an open heart. Let's take our words and pick them so they mend the parts that had a blow. And when we speak, we help to soothe the wounds left there. And then we sigh and breathe so deep. And moving forward in restful sleep, we choose our words with oh such care that spreads the joy of this life so rare. Thank you. And then I pay attention a lot to surroundings, especially in our forest. We have a lot of birds, and I have a special bird bath. We had a bluebird bird bath party yesterday with probably 10 or 12 of those little beautiful bluebirds having a nice bath and having a good time. But the one thing that attracts me a lot is the ravens. We have a lot of beautiful black ravens, and they're all around our area and our town through our forest, and their color, such deep, dark blue-black color, it always fascinates me. So I wrote this poem about our ravens. Raven, 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 feathers black as night. What is it about you that gives such a fright? From where I sit you are not scary, yet somehow when you're close, I'm a little wary. My thoughts are floating round and round, looking for a place to ground. What is it you have to say? Is there news on the way? Could it be a gentle warning for me to hear in early morning? Or a nudge to listen close for the answer that I want most? Am I to sit and pay attention, or will I find my answers questioned? To my feathered friends I say, black will always be that way. with fear and crazy magic too, and that is how I think of you. Thank you. And this is just a real short. I also really enjoy doing found poetry. And you might enjoy that too. All it takes is to open a page of a book, and you just circle words. You just find words that attract you and then put them together into a poem. This poem came from, I believe, I'm trying to remember which book it came from. It might have been a Harry Potter book. It's called Precious Toy. Precious toy that time forgot. My memory, the love of handmade, tender care, putting objects together. No machines, maybe sewing. My memory, precious toy, serenity. I think we can find serenity on occasion in some of those old toy memories of our childhood. I'm going to read a story, I think, as my final presentation here today. It's called The Heart of the Dragon. This story, sometimes the muse just hits and I can just write a story or a poem pretty quickly. Other times it takes a little time, but this one just kind of came from nowhere. It's called The Heart of the Dragon. Once upon a time, there lived a dragon, an ordinary dragon, with one exception. This dragon had a heart of gold that would glow so brightly it could turn night into day. This dragon had been in hiding for the last 3 years, learning the ways of imagination, as all dragons do. One day, as he reached his maturity, he decided to be off in search of his mate, his one true love. He knew that if he found this perfect mate, that they would bring their imaginations to flourish into the most beautiful songs, so much better than he could do alone. So off he went into the deep, deep woods so thick, so dense, that he could barely see 2 feet from where he stood. He began to feel lost and was beginning to feel sad, losing hope of ever finding his mate. As he pondered what to do next, he saw an old tree stump. He slumped to the ground and leaned against the stump and drifted off to sleep. As he drifted into dream time, there came a rustling and a movement from within the stump. Very slowly, carefully, a gnome peered out of the stump to see who was resting by his home. He immediately noticed the golden heart shining brightly as the dragon slept, and was not afraid. The gnome considered that this must be a special dragon who might possibly help his tribe with a big problem. As the gnome was contemplating how to ask for help, suddenly the dragon snapped his eyes open and was startled to see the gnome watching him. As the dragon arose to his full height, the gnome could see even more of the magnificent golden heart. "Why do you stare so, little gnome?" the dragon asked. "And what do you want?" The gnome paused before answering the dragon. He said, "I see you have a golden heart, mighty dragon." The dragon looked curiously at the gnome, as the gnome considered his question. The gnome gathered his courage and asked the dragon, "We are in need of a carrier to transport the king of the gnomes across the great river. It is there that he can meet the queen of the fairies." "Why is this meeting important?" asked the dragon. With much excitement in his voice, the gnome replied, "It has been over 100 years since the king of the gnomes and the queen of the fairies have been together. Our ancient stories tell us that together the king and queen can weave their magic to create the most brilliant, the most gigantic, the most sumptuous harvest basket ever known." The dragon pondered the question, considering his own quest and the gnome's request. "I can help you with one condition. When the basket is complete, You must help me find my mate, the she-dragon with a golden heart like mine." The gnome agreed. So the dragon and the gnome traveled to the village of the gnomes to prepare for the journey. The following day, the dragon flew the Gnome King over the great river to meet the Fairy Queen. They were so delighted to see each other, and through their friendship they created the largest, most beautiful harvest basket in the land. It was filled with all the wonders of earth and heaven. The basket glowed so brightly that it blessed all who passed through the land. And true to his word, the gnome gathered his friends and family and went in search of the dragon's mate with the golden heart. The dragon carried them across rivers and lakes along their way, and after some time had passed, the dragon was tiring and losing his hope. He became sadder and sadder. "There's one last thing we can offer to help you," said the gnome. "We can call upon the powers of the deep, deep earth." The dragon was afraid of the deep, deep, dark place of this power in the earth. He is a being of the surface and of the sky. Once again he pondered. Then with much courage the dragon agreed. All the gnomes gathered in a circle around the dragon with clasped hands and chanted, "O deep, deep earth, from whence we came, we call upon your wisdom just the same. Help us in this hour of need. Help us, help our friend indeed." Then suddenly there was a rumbling, and up from the earth into the center of the circle rose a three-headed creature. "Who has summoned me?" said the first head. "What do you want?" said the second head. "And what will you pay for my help?" said the third head. The gnomes cried out, "We have summoned you." The dragon cried out, "I am in search of my mate with the golden heart." And just when the dragon was about to give up hope for not knowing what the payment would be, the Fairy Queen appeared and cried out, "And the payment will be the great harvest basket, the grandest in all the land." And with that answer the three-headed creature replied, "Your mate for which you seek to find is living in the land of time. Together you must remember back to when your love there was no lack." The dragon once again pondered. He became very still, very quiet, and remembered. He remembered when he felt joy and love in his heart, and he remembered his own golden heart that began to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. It was so bright that it lit the entrance to a cave that was lying directly behind the circle. There in the cave was the sleeping mate of the dragon. As his light shined upon her and warmed her sleeping body, her own golden heart was ignited, and she awoke. Their eyes met, and their hearts glowed. The light together filled the entire valley below. The two dragons joined together and carried the gnomes to their village home, and as they flew across the land, their glowing hearts brought bountiful light, and with it the greatest harvest to all the people in the land. The three-headed creature of the deep, dark earth took the harvest basket as payment, and from under the ground the basket nourished the land for all who would live for hundreds and hundreds of years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a whimsical way you have of writing and engaging the listener. Really enjoyed it. It makes me feel childlike, like I want to go back to those mysterious times when everything was magical.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you. I bet your grandchildren really love to have you read. Do you read to them?
Oh, yeah.
Your own work, too? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Plus, I
good.
teach them Zentangle.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, I can illustrate what they write. That's
Yes.
excellent. Thank you so much, Linda.
Yes. Thank you,
I
Judy.
appreciate it.